What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys podcast. We are the NBA podcast of the people, your home for lukewarm takes and substandard analysis. I'm Titus Two Shots Dominguez, and joining me tonight, he likes big shoulders, big thighs, big men, and big smiles. It's the stats man, Chris Gorman. Hit with stats, Chris.
Nice. I am still into the big shoulders of these men, but the Minnesota Timberwolves, Joey?
Just keep going.
Minnesota Timberwolves on and off court numbers this year are insane. With Rudy on the court, their offensive rating is 30th in the NBA, but their defensive rating is second. With him off the court, their offensive rating is third. Their defensive rating is 23rd. We can find some middle ground here. We can become a top 10 team on both ends. Still have faith in this team.
All right, and we lost him there. Hold on, we're going to see if he comes back here. He bleeds red. He sees bulls. It's the lawn boss, Joey McCroskey. Get that, Joe? We're not sure. Might have some technical difficulties here. Well, for the live stream, we'll just keep it going. We might have to do a little bit of a restart here for the podcast.
Yeah, we can just like a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for Adam.
Yeah, for Adam. So, Adam, if you're listening later. But if you're live with us, we do have a lot going on as far as topic-wise tonight. We have the most slept-on team we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the most impactful injury. Rash of injuries coming up lately. And then we got our starting five MVPs. And we have a new coach for the New Jersey Nets. So that'll be interesting.
Family man.
A family man, yeah. A little less of a controversial pick than Ime Udoka.
Yeah.
And then we got the we're just gonna look ahead then to the next week. So and we'll see what's going on. Let's see if we can get Joey back though here. I wonder where he went. All right, Chris. Well, it's just us right now.
What's going on, Titus? Should
Not
we talk?
much,
Should we just jump into it, or should we?
You want to jump into it and see what happens, or we're gonna? I just texted him, so we'll see if he's coming back, or if he's. I don't know what happened here.
What timing by Joseph on this one?
I don't know. By Joseph's internet, we don't know.
He's trying to get back in.
He's trying to get.
I don't know how I feel about the Bulls this year. Like, I have a thing later that we can talk about maybe before he gets on. Is Zach LaVine. I hate that he was out because of rest.
Oh, okay.
But here, okay, we'll talk about it later.
He might be.
There
back.
he is.
Are you back, Joey?
I think I'm good. Sorry, it froze up on me real hard.
Froze up. Well, yeah. Well, that was it. Adam, good luck with all that. We'll do a 2.
I never stopped recording, Adam. I kept it going.
He kept it going. Yeah, that'll be fun for him later. But all right, let's go ahead and get right into this. Most slept on team. That's our first question of the night. We got our starting 5-pack of questions. A lot of options here. So this is the team that was most, I don't want to say overlooked, but maybe the least talked about teams coming into the season, or teams we kind of thought were maybe going to bottom out a little bit, or maybe not do as well as they are doing right now. I think there's obviously a lot of candidates. For me personally, I think the Suns was the biggest candidate for this category. I know you guys were both a little low on them. Their over-under was 12 games lower than what they were supposed to be last season, or what they were last season, and then they've come out of the gate pretty hot, sitting number 2 in the West, number 2 in the net rating overall, so pretty solid team. Chris, any thoughts on the Suns, or who would be your most slept on?
Oh, sure. Let's talk about the Suns. I was actually going to avoid talking about the Suns because I could care less. They're 7-3. They're up 69-51.5 against Minnesota right now. And they're so good. Michael Bridges has 18 off 7 of 9 shooting. The team's insane. They have so many weapons. Cam Johnson went down. He's going to be out for a while, but just plug in Torrey Craig. Jay Crowder wants to be traded, but they're not going to trade him unless he gets some good deal. How is this team still being run well, even though the owner is a nutbag? And it's so weird to see that this team is doing so well, and I'm very frustrated about it. But I'm actually it kind of gives me hope for humanity in a way that, like, you can't come back from one of the most embarrassing defeats in sports history that quickly.
True. The Game 7 loss. Everybody was out on them. Joe, you got any thoughts on the Suns, or you got a team?
I think Chris and I mentioned this last week, but I think we're gonna have a lot of egg in our
face. We should say that like 10 times this pod, by the way. Chris and I mentioned this last week when you weren't here.
I'm back, Grandma. I'm back. In case you're watching this week.
I hope she isn't. I hope she completely.
No, she just tuned in for my birthday, and then that was it. Didn't realize I wasn't going to be on the show.
No, we completely whiffed on the Suns. I agree with Chris. I don't know how they're succeeding at the rate that they are with everything that happened in their offseason and whatnot. Just the fact that they're kind of performing the way they are is pretty remarkable. I still don't have a ton of confidence in them, but for sure, in terms of like underrated coming into the season, they have taken that one and put that chip on their shoulder. Yeah,
definitely. And I think I'm in the same boat, Joey. I'm in a little bit of a, hey, let's see it in the playoffs, though. Like, this is great. So, you can do the regular season, but yeah, it's playoffs.
You guys are both saying that. Now, I want to list off the 7 teams that have a plus 500 record in the West. And which team are you most confident in to reach the conference finals? We got the Jazz.
Okay. No.
Then the Suns, Blazers, Nuggets, Grizzlies, Mavs, and then Clippers. So of those 7, who are you most confident to make it to the conference finals?
Mavs.
Oh, that's a good one. I'll go in order: Grizzlies, Suns, Nuggets.
So not Mavs.
No.
I would think Mavs, Nuggets, Suns for me, my top 3.
Mavs,
okay, so Suns are in there, but they're still like...
Yeah, they're that second team.
That's kind of exactly what they were last year, too. They're just doing it again.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. Some other teams I had, one team I had was the Raptors. I don't know how you guys felt about them.
I thought about them. I disagree with that just because the Bulls routed them. Right?
I mean, they got beat the game before, but yes,
I know, but they looked glorious against them. I loved watching Pat Williams against Scotty Barnes. He actually looked alive going against somebody that's his doppelganger in a way.
Yeah.
A year younger and a year better already, even though with one less year of experience.
How did that math work out?
I know.
1 year younger, but 1 year better with one less year of experience.
1 + 1 + 1 = 3.
I love that. Joey, what do you think, man? Were the Raps underrated? Are the Bulls underrated? The Bulls were not on the list.
I don't think the Raps are. I think they're exactly where I think you kind of thought they would be. I think the same with the Bulls, they were. Right. I think the Bulls are the exact same way. Like they're exactly where we kind of pegged them to be, right? Fluttering with the 6th, 7th seed, depending on the night, but they're kind of playing about a 500 team. They've had some really good wins and they've had some really bad losses and some good losses. Like they're exactly what I think we thought they were going to be, right? They're going to give you some nights where they look like a fantastic team, other nights where it's like they don't have enough star power or firepower to actually, compete with some of these top teams. I wrote down the Cavs actually, and
that was my other team on this. Go ahead.
I wrote them down mostly because their own front office came out and was like, we don't have a lot of expectations for this season, and we're not expecting this to be a first season success where everything just clicks right off the bat with the addition of Donovan Mitchell. But the fact that they're 8-2 and Darius Garland missed, I think, like 5 or 6 games already, and they were managed to kind of get through that. Like, that's a good team, and that's a scary team. And Donovan Mitchell looks like a reinvented person. I mean, he's looking like the absolute winner in this whole Utah Jazz. Well, besides the Jazz, I guess, but out of that whole saga and all that nonsense about the Rudy and Donovan issues, he's looking like the guy.
Yeah,
who wasn't the problem.
It wasn't him. Yeah, it wasn't Donovan. It's definitely looking like that, especially kind of with Minnesota's sort of sputtering start here to there you go.
Sorry, we want to go talk about. I thought this was surprising.
I didn't want to catch strays. Minnesota's catching strays here. Let's keep it positive. I wish I could keep it positive this week. So you guys mentioned kind of all the teams I was thinking about. The other team that I kind of had in my mind, and I kind of wanted to get your guys' feel. I think you guys touched on it again a little bit last week, but the Jazz. I mean, is this underrated, or is this fake? Is this going to run out at some point, or what's happening here?
Right. Like at what point? Well, I mentioned last week with the Phoenix, like how the Phoenix Suns. I still didn't look up the year, but I think it was like 2006 when no, it can't be that long ago. With Brandon Knight, Eric Bledsoe, and Isaiah Thomas when they won 48 games, right? Mm-hmm. And could that be what this Utah Jazz team is? Are they even better? This team is fun. Clarkson is running rampant around everywhere.
Yeah.
Lauri Markkanen is looking like the best version that we saw him. I remember seeing him like this in Chicago. I saw this, and he's just winning more with it. So all this to say, I still don't know what to make of this Utah team. It's more just a wait and see. I wouldn't be surprised if they're, at least in the play-in game.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of curious if they're going to hang around here for a minute because it has been, it's been a couple weeks now. So I think this might be a little more real, but I didn't want to put them quite on the most slept-on team because they were supposed to be a tanking team, and this is it's still early enough that we don't know exactly what it could be. So I think we kind of touched on all those teams, and
the one other team I wanted to just mention is the Atlanta. Is like in terms of
okay.
I was sleeping on the Atlanta Hawks because they beat the Bucks without Trae Young.
True.
And I'm like, I haven't really. I thought I knew who the Hawks were. We talked about them last week. It's the third time we said so far. How
drink
we had it was like Raptors, Bulls, and Hawks. Like, how would you rank those three teams? And it was like,
yeah, I remember you guys did.
I think we landed on Hawk, or I think I wanted to go Raptors, Bulls, Hawks, and now I'm kind of like Hawks, Bulls, Raptors in a way, or Bulls, Raptors are kind of AB, but the Hawks just seem like there's another potential level that they can reach, especially with DeJounte Murray on that team. And oh man, yeah.
Joey, any other teams? Any other things? Notes?
No, I don't disagree with the Hawks one. I'm curious to see how that plays out. Chris, last week we all kind of said the Bulls could surpass the Hawks at some point in the season. The Raptors were going to be the struggle, but I don't know. That script might be flipping.
I just like Trae Young. He's a really fun, scrappy dude. I know, Tice, you're a big fan. You got a jersey of him, so
yeah, big Trae fan over here. With that, moving on. All right, let's go to the most impactful injury. So there was a rash of injuries. There's been a couple of minor ones. I mean, Dame was sat for a little bit. Ben Simmons is still out, or I don't know what's going on with Simmons. But the big ones that we have here is that James Harden is out for about a month, at least the last I had seen, with a right foot tendon strain, I believe. And then Cam Johnson is out 1 to 2 months with the torn meniscus, or he's having surgery on the meniscus. So big pieces there to his Suns team that's, sitting second in the Western Conference. Philly not doing so hot right now. Maybe they need Harden. The other one I throw out there for you guys is Pascal. He's got a groin injury. He's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. So right now it's not as heavy, but he's been balling out. So the Raptors not having him, and you saw that they lost to the Bulls there without him. And Joey was really pushing for us to get two wins against them, and we couldn't squeeze that out. But Joey, what do you think, man? What was the most impactful injury? Looking forward, which team's going to have the hardest time?
It should have been 2 wins for the Bulls against 76ers. That's bad. Bad news, Bears. I did write down Pascal though as the biggest one, and
all right.
I think so. After Monday's game, 76ers Suns, right? 76ers beat the Suns by 12, and Embiid seemed to be kind of like I don't know. He seemed like Embiid of like 2 seasons ago, before all of the like expectations and kind of like drama came. Like he seemed kind of like cheerful and kind of fun. Just kind of, it was one of those games, got to the free throw line a bunch and just kind of got it through. So I was watching it and I was kind of like wondering if Embiid might thrive like individually without Harden there, right? I think everybody was so interested in, does Embiid do better when he has kind of a supporting cast, but he didn't look really quite like himself for a lot of the season. So curious to see how that plays out. I put Pascal though, because I think just like out of their starting 5, like once you go into the bench, there's not a ton of depth on that team. Pascal, he's averaging career highs pretty much across the board in everything he's got going on this year. And like on Sunday night, right, the defense was great. The Bulls didn't play Zach, so they just doubled DeMar, and it was a struggle for them. But then Monday, when they had the full squad, it was like if they had some offense outside of Van Vliet, who was playing on a second game back, they might have looked a lot different. And, I think they don't have a lot of scoring. Scotty Barnes should be better, but he hasn't played quite as great, I think, so far this season. It's been fine. Like, it hasn't been.
He didn't have a great game in that second game of that back.
Right. And Van Vliet had, 30 and 27, I think it was, but he played 38-ish minutes or something coming back off of an injury, which is excessive. You can't expect to get that out of him every night and those kinds of minutes. So I think, in terms of what they have on their roster, Pascal means a lot to them when some of these other teams have some other names that can step up and fill in for those injuries.
True.
I don't remember Christian Coloco getting 6 blocks on those goals.
That dude was erasing shots.
It was a tough watch.
That was the difference between the two games. It felt like the Bulls would have won both if it wasn't for Coloco's 6 and Van Vliet just doing crazy Van Vliet things.
Yeah,
Patrick Williams got a rebound.
Yeah. But I have a couple I want to talk about. One's not, I don't mean this to be trolly, but I'm just irritated by him. So there's been 12 games right now before today of Bulls basketball, and Zach LaVine has played 8 of them. Is he hurt?
I think he's resting.
What?
So
after 12 games,
the Bulls.
What are we doing?
The Bulls did it to him, so they finally announced it. The Bulls came out, and
so the Bulls are going to take the brunt of it. They're not going to let LaVine.
Well, the Bulls said you're not playing back-to-backs for the first couple of weeks because they had a ridiculous schedule. So now that they don't have another back-to-back till I think December 11th, he said he expects to play every game between now and then.
Do we have like an over/under on 65 for Zach LaVine this year in games? What do you guys think?
I mean, if he plays 65 games, I think that's perfectly fine.
Like 62.
I think we'll over that. If he's just sitting back to backs, I'm actually okay with that. I mean, that at the end of the day, it's not the best. I'm kind of with you. I mean, it's definitely impactful when he sits because you guys are completely right. When I went back and watched that Toronto, I didn't watch the Toronto game live, the first one live. But when I went back and watched it, kind of after you guys were in the chat, telling what was going on, I was watching everything you guys were saying, and you guys were spot on. They were just doubling DeMar, and the Bulls just had no answer for it. Whether that was, coaching issue or that was just not having your guys, but you saw it was night and day difference, on Monday when they had Zach. Now they had a guy that could penetrate and get to the basket. And
they also had 23 turnovers on Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, it was wild. I mean, it been sloppy. I feel like the Bulls have been a little sloppy anyway, but
sorry. The point is, I didn't really want to talk about the Bulls that much.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Sorry.
That's fine. LaVine's got, just want to play back-to-backs, whatever. But my guy is Ben Simmons. What the hell's going on here? He's playing 15 minutes a game now, back-to-back games, getting 4 points, getting 2 points. He's playing 30 plus. He's only getting like 7 points. Is he hurt? Is his back still acting up? Is this a mental health injury?
I think it was his knee. He had a knee thing, right? Is that what? Yeah. What I saw was a knee soreness. So I mean,
knee soreness.
An extension of the back, perhaps, like maybe he's compensating.
Dude has injuries like he's 40 years old or 35. Like Titus, like you're not even having these injuries. This guy's 26.
It's the yoga, ridiculous. It's the stretching,
right? Maybe Ben took up some yoga.
Do you really deem it that impactful, though?
Yes, because okay. So this is my point. Sorry. So right now they're up 92-71 on the Knicks.
Just curious.
No. I know that's a very good question because obviously the elephant in this. Is there an elephant in this room? We don't even know. Yeah. Kyrie would probably say otherwise. He would make you. Anyway,
he would want you to do your own research on the elephant.
It's so. He's the worst part of it. But imagine if just Ben Simmons was what he was 2 years ago. Before the postseason, with Kevin Durant, that team would still be fighting for a top 3 slot in the East. So the fact that he's such a shell of himself right now, it's
this is a good,
kind of disappointing to watch.
This is a good transition. Let's hold on our question 3 for a second. Let's go to question 4. So the Nets. Actually, I want to talk a little Nets here. While we're on the Nets, let's just do the Nets. So the Nets have hired a new coach, Jacques Vaughn. Thoughts?
Jacques Vaughn.
Joey, thoughts, man. What do you think? So not Ime, obviously.
I think this is the reaction to. I think if the Kyrie thing didn't happen the way that it did, Ime Udoka is the head coach of the Nets. Like, there's no question about it, right? Like, Woj doesn't leak that, and Shams, like, they don't have bad sources, right? It's very rare that those guys are wrong, right? When they come out with something, it's usually pretty much fact. And the fact that they were so sure that it was, 24 to 48 hours, and then it just went dark, right? It went like radio silence. There was no more chatter about it. It was just over. And the Kyrie thing was happening. And I think it was just a combination of you can't fire your coach. You can't have the Kevin Durant drama in the summer, and you can't have all this Kyrie stuff. All this stuff, basically, like, your team is a hot mess, right? It's a dumpster fire. And then like, we're going to bring in this guy who nobody still knows what happens, right? Like, you can't take that risk as them. Like, if you hire him and it comes out that whatever happened is way worse than we all, the very basic concept of what we know happened, like, they're not surviving that. Like, that is absolute disaster waiting to happen. So I mean, it's a PR move, I think, and I think it's the right PR move. It's a good choice by them, just as being, a fan. It's a good thing for them to say to their fans and to women.
The women fans
and the women fans, women that work for the organization.
It's important, and they did the right thing. I think it's only a 1 year. Jacque Vaughn it's this season, I think, in the next season, so it's not a long-term thing, but it's the right choice. And I'm actually really happy that they did it, because it's like, they're not like so stupid, but the entertainment value might have been pretty good. Because I feel like the Celtics or somebody would have went like scorched earth on this. Like, there's no way.
Well, I think Adam Silver went scorched earth on it.
And said,
I think this kind of reminds me of what Philly did a few years ago now, when they fired Sam Hinkie and replaced him with Jerry Colangelo, a seasoned guy in the NBA, and kind of ruined Philly because of what he was doing. And this kind of reminds me of that, where like the NBA got involved in this clearly. They're like, hey, you can't hire Ime Udoka. You have too much drama going on in your organization already.
Chris.
You're gonna start hurting the reputation of the NBA. It's getting this bad.
Yeah, and right now it's your players, and you can say you have a level of separation on that.
Yeah, but then you hire a coach, you hire a guy. That, I don't know if you guys seen this show called The Morning Show on Apple, but like Steve Carell's kind of like got this Ime Udoka kind of thing going on, and it doesn't work out well for Steve Carell. So we still don't know what's going on with Ime Udoka yet, but odds are there's more to the story that it's not going to be good news. It's not going to be like, oh no, he's actually a good person.
Yeah, exactly. No, so I was reading an article before we hopped on here from Sports Illustrated, and I wrote the guy's name down. It's Chris Mannix or Marks or something.
Yeah.
Mannix. But he said that Kyrie is basically the reason that they did not hire Ime Udoka, that it was 4 to 6 days prior to the Steve Nash firing that they were pretty much close to terms with Ime, and that they were ready to hire him, and that was going to make the move. And then the Kyrie thing happens. He does this tweet, and like Joey said, it turns into an absolute dumpster fire. And then they decided to back off because of the PR hit they were going to take in back-to-back weeks. Although I do love Chris's theory that the NBA kind of stepped in and said, "Hey, dude, what are you guys doing here?"
Yeah.
I really hope so. That would be awesome. I want that to come out. Now, one thought I had: what do you guys think about this? And this may be my tinfoil hat here, putting this on. Does this signal that there might be a fire sale here in the future for the Nets? Because I feel like that was one thing that people were saying about Ime Udoka, was that you don't hire that guy with the idea that obviously this thing could just completely blow up in the next, if you trade Kyrie to the Lakers, if Durant decides he wants out, and now you have Ime Udoka for 5 years, like, what are you doing? Is this kind of like a sort of a signal, like you said, Joey? It's a shorter contract this year, next year. Is this the possibility that this thing is completely over by the end of the season or by next season?
Well, I think it's over at the end of this season for sure, because I don't think they re-sign Kyrie. The big question is does he complete these 6 things that he has to complete in order to come back, right? And all the reports are saying the reason the Nets picked the things that they picked was they don't actually believe he's going to complete those 6 items.
Yeah.
And that gives them then a reason to release him or, not allow him to play, keep him under contract at the end of the season. Right. So I don't know if there's necessarily a fire sale in the season coming, but I mean, if you're a team like, you're calling the Nets, right, and saying, Kevin Durant, he wasn't happy in the summer, he can't be happy now. Like, hey, here's an offer. They're
Anthony
probably,
Davis.
Yeah, they're going to say no. They're going to say no every time, you would assume, but because they've got him for what, 4 more years or something. It's a huge length. But every team with a pulse should be picking up the phone and making that call to see what's happening.
All right, would you do it now, Joey? Would you do Zach for Durant now?
Just straight up.
Well, let's say Zach, and you're gonna do something picks, or maybe
because the contracts work,
or maybe it's one of the young guys.
The contracts probably work.
I mean, it's probably
Zach and P. Will for
Zach and P. Will. I'm gonna say I do it in a heartbeat. I would do Zach and Io too.
I could be convinced of that.
All right, I was kind of curious.
I mean, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Yeah, this is my personal pipe dream.
Quiet time with
hey, look, you know what? We're running a little short right now. Yeah.
I'm curious. They've got bigger problems than just like scoring isn't their problem. I feel like though. Like
true. I mean, yeah, true. And
it's Vucevic trade
in a way.
It's They need a.
We can talk
useful. They need
off air.
All right. So one thing I wanted to mention about Jakob Vaughn is on his Wikipedia, under his personal life, it says Vaughn and his wife, who was his college girlfriend, have 2 sons. He enjoys reading and writing poetry. That's it. Perfect guy to hire to help try to mend over all these
to fix this
happening. Just to weather the storm of crazy ass drama, especially with Twitter. Going bananas lately too. So.
Yeah.
He isn't new to the team though, right? I mean,
he was on the staff and
there's an assistant. He was the interim, so they clearly knew what they're getting into. I hope.
Chris is probably right. Like in kind of combination of what you're saying there, Joey, too. Like obviously he's on the staff, so he's aware of the situations. He kind of knows, maybe has a pulse of the team, and then like what Chris is saying, he's just kind of this sort of milquetoast guy that you're like, all right, he's fine. He's a coach. He's a coach.
I think there was a thing that Jakob Vaughn said that his wife said that she wasn't his first choice, but that they've been together for 20 years, so it worked out. And so he's kind of relating that with the Nets.
The Nets are same.
So it's all right, yeah.
Wow. Really, really lighting the fires for the Brooklyn fans. The Jakob Vaughn.
It's just the honest case for a lot of people in situations. Just nobody speaks it.
He's fine. He wasn't my first choice.
It was my first choice, but it was 20 years, so it just worked.
But it's working. We have kids now. Oh boy. Well, good luck, Jock.
We're staying in it for the kids. Kevin Durant and Ben Simmons. The best duo in the NBA.
He has emotional problems and he's on the bench.
Do you think Kevin Durant actually regrets leaving Golden State?
Yes.
In his darkest moments in the middle of the night, yeah, he does. He's watching those guys hang a banner.
It keeps getting worse. I can't get over how bad this is getting for them. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, this is a random topic, but I do kind of want to ask you guys. We talked about this last year, but like the kind of the changing of the guard and the eras. But are the 2010s players, are they completely done?
This is a great transition into the MVP talk.
Yeah, into the MVP talk. That's a good idea.
Nice.
But so all those guys that we consider to be kind of the greats from that era, right? I would, Durant, LeBron, they're just not getting it done anymore, not by themselves. And like what people would say all the time, oh, if you have LeBron or if you have Durant, you're a contender. And it's like, no,
Luke is
really.
that guy now.
Luke is that guy.
Right?
Giannis is that guy right now.
Yep.
So maybe Tatum is kind of ascending to that thing. So yeah, I think
Donovan Mitchell's that guy. I mean,
but like we've seen a full shift, right? This is.
I think so. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
I like that.
Like Chris Paul is not even playing tonight. They're still roasting Minnesota right now. It's so stupid.
They got their guys. Well, let's see who makes our starting 5 of MVPs. Our number 4 question here tonight. We want to talk early season MVPs. We haven't gotten into this yet. So who after 3 weeks is kind of leading the polls for MVPs? And we're going to do it a little differently than everybody's doing. Everybody's doing kind of their top 5 MVP players, but we're going to do by position. So we're going point, shooting, small forward, power forward. I almost said big forward there for some reason. That was weird. And then center.
I like
it's only weird because
big forward.
We should change the name to Big Forward.
Big forward. I think the Box Out Boys officially changing it to Big Forward. All right. So position wise, now first off, let's talk about. I want to talk about this because I actually found this really fun. Joey suggested this in the chat. We were kind of coming up with questions for the show, and at first I was like, I don't know, this seems kind of hard. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, all right, this is going to be kind of fun. And I started going through it. It felt like a bit of a challenge because I think I would have had maybe some different names on here if I wouldn't have gone this way. But just the process, did you guys find the position thing fun? Or did you think that was...
Yeah, of course.
Anything, Rico?
Joey? I find all of this fun.
I feel like this might have been my 5 regardless.
Oh, okay.
Actually.
Interesting.
But it works out.
I might be on the same page, but I did like looking at it from the position.
I maybe could have had like maybe 1 or 2 changes, but for the most part, I think I probably would have landed in the same zone.
All right, you guys want to start position by position?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right, let's start with our point guard. Chris, who do you have?
So can I is Luka considered a point guard in this case?
Yes, on Basketball Reference, he is a PG.
Okay.
That's what I went with.
Yeah, it's Luka Doncic. He his usage rate is 39.2. To put that in perspective,
holy crap,
it's insane. I think Russell, when he won MVP, was 36, and everyone thought that was insane. I mean, John Morant's got 36 right now. Yeah. Usage rates ridiculous this year so far. But Luka, I mean, they're gonna win with him and win without him, or and lose if he doesn't
lose without him.
Deliver. Like tonight against Orlando, they lost without Orlando was without Paolo Banchero. Luka shot 9 of 29, and they lost. So it's like, okay, if he's not performing well, they don't really have anyone to really pick up the slack for this team.
Did his 30 points per game streak end?
Yes. Okay. Yes, it did. 24.
Damn.
So Luka is the clear top point guard right now in the league. I don't know if he'll actually stay there. Well, no, he will. But like, I kind of questions what Dallas can really do going forward because it's all hero ball with Dallas, and it's just Luka. Like,
I mean, that's kind of why I didn't have them in that, like the who could make the Western Conference Finals. Like, Luka's a special player. There's no doubt about it. He could drag that team to the finals for sure. But my confidence is low because it is just him. Joey, is that kind of who you went with for point guard? Or did you go somewhere else?
I went with Luka. Absolutely. That was my number 1 pick. That was my number 1 for point guard and probably my number 1 out of all the 5, I think is most likely.
True.
At this point.
Giannis for me was number 1.
Yeah. I'm right between those two. I feel like the usage thing is probably it's gonna be a big deal. But Giannis has a defense. I don't know. It's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be tough, but I think all right. D. So he's got the big D.
Yes, probably.
Oh, Giannis and his big D. I love it. Yes, I also went with Luka at point guard. Wow, that is a new one for the Box Out Boys. We'll definitely be saying that. All right, let's go shooting guard. Joey, where did you go shooting guard?
Donovan Mitchell.
Yes, my
That's
man.
It. Yeah,
that's it. All right, we're on the same page here. This might be a quick discussion. Give us why. What are your reasons?
I love the stats at hand, but
stats.
Chris, I'm sure has them. Right?
31.2 points per game so far, 6 assists, 1.3 steals, 45% from 3 on 9 attempts. So he's hitting 4 a game.
That's nuts.
Dude is second in the league in field goal attempts. Stupid. And stupid what he's doing.
Running them out to an 8-2 record without you probably say their second best player on their team. Or I mean, coming into this, their first best player, right? Until Donovan showed up. And there's a narrative piece around him too, right? That everybody was writing him off in Utah, that it was over. He was not who we all thought he was going to be. And the Donovan Mitchell of that playoff series against the Nuggets with Jamal Murray, like that was a flash in the pan. It wasn't coming back, and he's flipped that script. And without Donovan Mitchell, the Cavs aren't 8-2, and we're not talking about them as being a sleeper and scary team to watch.
Definitely. Kind of going off back to the first question we had about slept on teams. I didn't talk too much about the Cavs, but I know preseason we talked about them as being like a team that could be a sleeper. Maybe they can sneak into that top 4. I think they're clearly the 3rd best team in the Eastern Conference behind the Bucks and Boston. I still have those guys ahead of them, but they're certainly a legitimate contender to come out of the East, in my opinion. So we'll see how it goes. And yeah, Mitchell was my shooting guard as well. All right, let's see what we do for small forward. So I went with Tatum here. He's listed as a power forward on Basketball Reference, but I went with him there. As when we get to power forward, we'll see. Chris, who did you have for small forward?
It is Tatum, but I just say through? And I think because a lot of times when you do the MVP talk right now is also you're thinking ahead through the rest of the season. We're expecting Boston to continue to play well, but all I just gotta say is that Lauri Markkanen has 9 wins this year for the Utah Jazz, and I know he's got 10 less points per game, but only 1 more rebound. It's Tatum. Damn it, it's not even close. No, it's Tatum. Tatum is so much better. And the thing is, like with Boston, it's like it is like a poor man's version of MJ and Pippen. Right?
Yeah,
where like MJ is Tatum and Pippen is Jaylen Brown, because Jaylen Brown sometimes looks like the man. It's like, oh, maybe Jaylen Brown's better than Pippen. Had that in the 90s a little bit. No one remembers that at all anymore. But it's Tatum.
Tatum, Joey?
Tatum.
Oh, man,
we're locked in. It's all Tatum. I mean, it's
locked in.
It's hard to, Chris, like Chris said, it's hard to argue that like he's going to have any slippage throughout the season.
Yeah, he's ascended.
I think he's kind of how Luka is, a little bit less because they have some more players on this team. But when he's going and he's going well, they're hard to beat and they're tough to beat. And man, it's crazy to think like when we started this podcast, we were talking about like Tatum and Levine, right? Like that was a conversation we had because Tatum, like let's be honest, right? Last year was not. And nobody saw that coming.
I was super low on Tatum.
Yeah,
I mean, we all knew he was good. Yeah, like we were talking like top players under 25 or whatever, and it was like, oh, is Tatum better than Bam? And we were like, Han. It was, and now it's like, he's top 5 MVP choices, and it's probably better than top 5.
Yeah, and like kind of going to what I said, he's to me is one of those guys. If he's on your team, you're a contender now. And I think it's maybe not up quite to like the Luka and Giannis level, but he's that next bracket down. Him, like Donovan and some of these other guys.
It is kind of that's kind of a tier of their own, right? Luka and Giannis.
Yeah, Giannis. Everyone else. They're definitely the 2 best players in the league.
Do you have Tatum stats up? I think he's
31.
What's his blocks? How many blocks per game?
1.5. That's when I stopped talking. Is when I saw that. Lauri's got 0.9 blocks. But like the fact that you have over 1.5, that's a lot of blocks.
That's an elite defender level.
It's a lot of blocks for a guy you could probably consider almost a guard at some point.
For a 3.
A 3.
Like
I guess he's probably playing the 4 a little bit more often.
I think he plays the 4.
The team is,
but
positionless basketball here. But
I love positionless basketball.
But 1.5 blocks a game. It's on ridiculous. 31 points a game.
Taters.
I'm so mad that I was so low on Tatum. I was mostly low on him because I used to listen to Bill Simmons so much. And
I know he really ruined him for me too.
Yeah, he did. And now I don't listen to Bill Simmons, so I'm back on Tatum.
Yes, he goes by Taters in my household because one, he was on my fantasy team, and that's the name of my team, and then we end up watching a lot of Boston games here. So
there you go.
Hey, there's Taters. All right, number 4. I feel like this is going to be pretty unanimous based on what we said. This is 3, 2, 1. Giannis.
Siakam. Oh, sorry.
Giannis here at the 4.
DeMar DeRozan.
What? You mean number 19 in the scoring?
Oh, man.
Did I check today before I got on the pod? Yeah, I did.
It's a long season.
Injuries happen. He's not creeping into that top 5. I'll tell you that.
There's a lot of scoring happening.
I know, man. I look at the list, and every time I'm like, oh man, that's these guys.
There's 7 guys over 30 points.
It is ridiculous.
It's absurd.
It's absurd. But yeah, Giannis, clear cut power forward here. Anything to say other than the guy is just a beast, best player in the league?
The dude's
the shoulders are massive as always, and
shoulders
just
are
a beautiful
marvelous.
specimen of a human being.
Yep, he's just eating that fruit before he starts this game.
That's right.
I'm gonna get it in. I'm gonna work it in. All right. So let's go center. Chris, I think you teased it there. Is that your center?
Did I say Siakam?
Yeah,
Siakam's not a center.
He's listed as a center.
He is listed as a center on Basketball Reference this season.
So I went with him as
have
my
a center on that team
for his first season in his career.
I was gonna, no, it's still maybe it's maybe it is Siakam. I was gonna say Jokic.
Yeah, Jokic is my number 2, but
Jokic was my.
I think.
Was your pick, Joey?
I picked Jokic.
You picked Jokic. Okay.
Yeah,
I went with Siakam just for right now. But yeah,
I kind of agree with Siakam, even though the Raptors are 1 win worse than the Nuggets. The Nuggets are on a 3-game win streak here, but like Nuggets have been underwhelming, so far.
I mean, it feels like it, which is kind of weird.
Especially if Jokic wants to win a 3rd in a row, a Larry Bird, he's going to be better than this. He's not going to be. And give me Siakam. Siakam would get more votes than Jokic right now.
Give me the Siakam minutes. Yeah, no, and this might be a little biased again. Siakam is on my fantasy team, so I'm definitely paying a lot more attention to him, and that dude is just balling. So,
for the next 2 weeks.
And that might be honestly a little fatigue there with Jokic. I feel like Jokic is probably the better player just in general.
That's my only thing is I think Jokic is better. It's just Jokic fatigue.
Jokic is I don't think he's had to do something special to win a 3rd MVP in a row. So it's kind of like that. Maybe that's
anything special to say, Joey, to defend your Jokic.
I'm pulling up the
stats.
I am pulling this. I'm just curious.
Gotta have it up. What are you doing?
I'm just curious. Well, I didn't expect you guys to have Pascal's. I honestly did not see that coming.
You know what? I just been watching him a little bit. And,
the only names we have not mentioned that are in the top 10 on Basketball Reference are Drew Holiday at number 6, who's been balling.
Wow. Yeah, but
who's balling. Stupid. Curry, because he's been a fantastic.
Yes,
he's been honestly he's as good as he's ever been. And then Laurie's number 9, which is awesome. Yeah. Then DeJounte Murray comes in at 10. I was a little surprised on that one. I don't know.
Joey, what were you saying?
I didn't realize how close their stats are so far this season.
Jokic and Siakam?
Siakam, yeah.
But Jokic is like 3rd in the league in assists or something.
He's averaging 9.3 assists.
That's
Siakam has 7.7. I mean, that's
not crazy.
I didn't expect to.
You know what's weird though? I would expect Siakam to have more steals, and he averages a half a steal less per game than Jokic.
Yeah.
Jokic's at 1.4.
Jokic
is like sneaky good defensively. Yeah,
Jokic is shooting
sneaky good because he's white and slow.
He's white.
Jokic is shooting 61% from the field though.
Holy crap!
Siakam at 48, which is not bad either.
Yeah, no, Jokic is like a.
Well, so I saw Jokic is only taking 12 shots a game, and like everyone else takes like 16 to 20.
True.
Yeah,
true. That's a good point.
He knows what to do.
That's the glorious thing.
If Jokic had won 2 in a row, would you have him above Siakam?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Oh yeah, because the whole landscape would be different. Yeah,
fair.
I think like my eye would be on Siakam. I'd be like, hey, let's see what he does. He can maybe move ahead of Jokic here, but it would be Jokic would get the respect vote. I think Siakam is only there because I'm like, we got to change it up here. I mean, Jokic is great, but I mean, I'm not gonna talk bad about Jokic. Even though every time I watch him, I'm like, this goofy mother. How is he out there just balling? But
I'm changing mine. I'm going to go we're going to be in full agreement here.
Full agreement. All right. So we ended up in full agreement.
I can't believe that he has 8 assists a game. I would never have guessed that Siakam has 8 assists.
So we have Luka, Donovan Mitchell, Tatum, Taters, and Giannis and Siakam. So wow. Almost unanimous. We think we only had one slight was originally Joey had Jokic, but we swerved.
I tried to put Laurie in there. It's just you can't
put
do
Laurie.
it.
All right, this is my second team. I had
and 2 of those are like locks from the beginning of the season. Like, but 3 out of those 5 you probably wouldn't have put in your top 5 when the season started.
Yeah, I think Donovan, Tatum, and Siakam. Yeah.
Did any of us pick? Go ahead, say your point. I'll look
up.
Right.
No, I'll say my my second 5. So Chris was saying we should go 3 deep at each player, and I'm like, hey, I don't know about that, but I did make a second team. My second team is Ja, Devin Booker, Laurie, Kevin Durant, and Jokic. Thoughts? I'm probably appreciate that, Steph.
Okay, not Kevin Durant. I put Siakam over Kevin Durant.
Laurie, Kevin Durant.
I know you guys said Siakam's a center, but
All right. And the only reason why I have Kevin Durant is because I couldn't find somebody else.
It is fair though. Kevin Durant is still having a very good.
Yeah, he's like 32 points
basketball.
a game. Yeah. He's the only thing good in the Nets right now.
Yeah. I mean, Kyrie has averaged 27.
I know, man. I mean, Kyrie. I mean, I can't defend Kyrie anymore. The guy's just an idiot.
When he plays, he's good.
When he plays, he's a great player. That's kind of what's sad about it, because it's like, dude, you're such a great player. Why do you have to be an absolute idiot?
He's like, I know I'm a great player. Now watch me say this.
Yeah, how could you just not do that? And then, like, what sucks too is, I mean, he's done so much for the Black community and other communities and WNBA players, and it's just like, damn, dude. Why
Oh man.
Just a reminder for our MVP picks from our roundtable.
Yes.
Chris has Giannis and Jokic.
Wow. All right.
Okay.
Titus has Luka and Zion.
Oh, that Zion pick is
you're
not aging well.
And I have Embiid and Ja, which is looking.
All right, so I'm looking.
Ja's your best. Ja's your best bet.
Who has Luka?
Titus has Luka. So you guys.
You look great because your Zion pick's idiotic, but you're fine with.
I mean, if I'd have gone Donovan Mitchell as a deep cut instead of Zion, I would have been looking pretty good right now.
Pretty right now, man. Oh man.
Titus might have MVP and Rookie of the Year locked up here. If Luka does it, he also has Paolo as his rookie. So.
Paolo.
Did any of us take Mathurin? Ben Man?
No, I believe you talked about it and then you didn't do it.
Damn it.
Yeah, I think we talked about it, but nobody did.
Yeah, I think I talked about it and I didn't do it.
All right.
Titus also has Ben Simmons as Defensive Player of the Year.
Wow. Ooh, that is.
We knew that was bad at the time.
That was bad at the time, but you know what? I stand by Ben, my boy Ben. The Ben.
You got 2 steals and a block tonight, so
I
stand by my man. Ben
Simmons.
He's not problematic other than
different song.
Different
song.
Different stuff. Different song. He's not a hurdle guy.
Stand by me.
All right, boys. Let's look ahead for the last thing here tonight. Let's look ahead. What games are you looking ahead to? Matchups? Any storylines you're looking ahead to? Joey, what are you thinking, man?
I'm looking ahead to Sunday.
Sunday.
You got Jazz 76ers.
All right, yeah.
I was going to say that one. Nice.
I think is actually going to be a good one.
Yep.
Nuggets Bulls, which I think
that's on my list.
Pretty good. And then actually Nets Lakers doesn't sound all that like uninteresting. It kind of sounds like it might be kind of fun to watch.
Let's watch 2 dumpster fires battle it out.
You've got like 2.
You ever watch a bum fight like that? Yes. That's so fun. What do you mean?
Brooklyn's doing better than the Lakers, but like
yes.
I don't know why. I'm slightly intrigued.
I'm sorry, Joey. Is there one more? Is there one more matchup you want to mention as well, or are those the only 3?
Is Minnesota playing a game? Because last I checked, they have like by far the worst offensive rating in the league. And it's like,
sorry, you missed the beginning of the episode when they actually are their 3rd in offensive rating when Gobert's not in the court.
Okay. So there's a stipulation when
they're at Cleveland.
So the guy
Cleveland, it's amazing.
The guy that you leverage.
We have so much good basketball on Sunday.
So that's an L.
They're better.
So what you're saying is it's an L for Minnesota on Sunday. Got it. So Donovan is going to roast Gobert. Oh, dude, that's a
game.
Sunday's a game.
That's a
You're
game.
Right. Sunday
Let's
is
go.
A game, dude. You got the dumpster fire battle. You got the bad blood. Donovan Mitchell.
The obvious,
Gobert.
this team should probably beat this team. But hey, who knows?
Jazz is Jazz Sixers. Who knows? No Harden. And then what was the other game? Oh, Bulls Nuggets. That was one. That's not definitely on my list. I want it. It's a. I don't know. I'm kind of a little more hopeful about the Bulls than I have been at the beginning of the season, and it's a good tester one because the Nugs are good. So let's see how the Bulls do. They're kind of holding off New Orleans right now, unless this 3 goes in.
They're hanging tight.
Oh, yeah. It's tied up. Zion to Zion. But
all right, and
any other games you guys looking forward to?
I had the entire Sixers schedule because they play Atlanta twice. Weekend?
They play Atlanta twice,
and then the Utah game, and then they don't play again until that Friday though. What's going on next week? Like they play Sunday and then they're off until Friday.
But
they play Atlanta twice, and I want to watch Atlanta anyways because I mentioned I'm kind of been like not watching Atlanta, and Atlanta is exciting. So Philly and Atlanta, I'll be watching.
Joey, what were you saying?
This season has been super front loaded. I feel like with games, like they came in strong, and like there were a lot of games in a short amount of time, and now we're kind of getting into the the stretches where you're getting 3 nights off for some of these teams. But
yeah,
Sunday and then Sunday, then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they get 4 days off. That's
wow.
I guess
crazy.
it's still weird.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I got a lot of Nuggets games on the list this weekend. A lot of Nugs, Celts Nugs, Bulls Nugs. I had Atlanta.
Bucks Nuggets.
Bucks Nuggets. I had Atlanta and the Bucks on my list as far as just kind of like a little bit of a rivalry there, and also Wolves Memphis coming up this weekend. So another L for the Wolves, but I want to see those two teams battle it out again. You know what, man? As much as
it's tough, man. The state of affairs up there is not. It's not bueno.
It's just I feel vindicated about everything I've ever said about Gobert. That's all I feel about.
That's a lot of people feel that way.
You know how much of the season has taken place is as if an NFL team is 2-2 right now. That's literally where we're at in the NBA season.
Yeah, but the thing with me is like if they just came out and were like, "Hey guys, it's literally like 10 games in, and like we're all new and we're figuring this out," but they're
chirping.
They're like picking at each other.
Yeah, it's weird.
Right?
I'd rather have that than to be quiet. So I still see the positive in it.
Hey, I can't argue because I'd say the same thing if the Bulls were calling each other out for being fat.
They'll be eating Popeyes.
Or being, weak and soft.
Gobert, that's all right. Gobert's going to get played off in the playoffs. It's fine. And then,
that's assuming they make that. Let's get to the playoffs. Like, we're not.
I mean, they're going to make that. They're going to. Wow, you're right. They might not make the playoffs. Jesus.
Well,
they're going to lose the next 12 games in a row. Right. So
there's a topic for next week. We're going to do which team doesn't make the playoffs.
Hey, they're in the play-in right now because they're better than Golden State.
Should we do a thing where we write off?
Better than Golden State. Ooh,
maybe.
Sorry. Do we want to talk about how shitty Golden State is? They have the worst bench in the league by far.
That's a great. We should.
I didn't even mention that. The plus minus on the bench is like
we're doing 2 shows tonight right now. We're doing 2 shows. Let's save it next week because you know what? I'm not really worried about Golden State, but we'll see.
I can't believe how bad Minnesota is right now.
Yeah, that's
tough.
I don't want to.
I'm shocked by it too.
It's a little shocking.
I didn't expect that.
It's a little shocking. But then I go Gobert. I go, that's it. But anyways,
Gobert's fine. He's
we can talk. We'll talk.
Tune in next week when we talk about more.
When we talk about all these topics, we're talking about the end of the show if we remember them. right a minute. All right. Well, that is it for us tonight. Join us next week to talk more NBA basketball. Follow us at Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch at the Box Out Boys. Slide in those DMs. Join us live Wednesdays at around 8:30, a little earlier tonight. Send us an email to theboxoutboys@gmail.com. And as always, like, subscribe, and review wherever you listen to this at now. We very much appreciate that. So for Chris, Joey, and Adam, I'm Tyson. Until next time, Box Out.